Today, I plan to speak with you about parent involvement. What I've read about parent involvement in Poland is very different than in the United States. So to begin, I'd like for us to do some brainstorming, some thinking aloud. So I have some chart paper here around the room, and I think also markers for writing, so we can start. Good, thank you. And the room isn't very large, so you'll have to be comfortable in a tighter group maybe. So in each of these tablets, this tablet, and I guess I could have you write, I would like for you to brainstorm lists that would that would describe homes. Words for the home to describe. If you think about the children and their homes, and on the tablets, I'd like for you to think about in the home, when you think about the children, what is it that they would see, hear, feel in their emotions, touch?
Over there you have the parts of the building, also the support of the building. So here we have the positive.
Okay, so it sounds like we have positive things and negative things that talk about home. So now I'd like you to make a list of the same type of things for school. So things that you would see, hear, feel, the same type of list, but thinking about school life.
Assessment, responsibility, difficult responsibilities. Ale ja nie mogę być samej, bo to jakby nie, po prostu muszę też widzieć, co się dzieje na slajdach, więc ewentualnie, jeżeli przesuniemy stół. Building noise, the bell ringing, a lot of people, a lot of rooms, emotions, boredom, questions, stress, toilets, so the parts of the building. Here you have exams, shame, control.
So if you look at both of these lists, the first thing I'd like for us to think about are the similarities. If you read them, where do you see things that are similar, things that are the same? So when we look at the similarities and differences between what is at home and what is at school, the goal is to create a bridge between the two, because the parents in the community are stakeholders when it comes to thinking about what's going on in the schools. That most people believe that parental involvement is the best way to improve schools. This is the general public, not educators. Education is the only place where people think they know better how to do the job than you do. Now, maybe this is just in the States, but we have often parents who think, I've been to school before, so I know what should happen in schools. They don't think that about doctors and operating rooms. So even though they may have had surgery, they don't think, oh, I know what this is about and I can now do this. So in education, we have a special challenge in that regard, I believe. We also can talk about the fact that the lack of parental involvement is a big problem in facing what I'm thinking of as public schools. When they are kindergartners, very young, maybe preschool, I don't know, do you have preschool? They come in droves, I don't know another word. The parents, they all like to come. In my classroom, I had a sign on the wall that said, Trail of Tears. Parents for kindergarten would bring them, and then you'd say, bye. And the parents, ooh. Then they come back. Then say, bye. Ooh. Grade 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, they drop them off outside. And you say, wait, wait. No. So it does change over time. So we see this middle time maybe when parents aren't as involved. And what we want to do is to capture the early years of excitement to go over the span. Am I saying too much?
No.
Over the span of their education. And I use the example of pediatricians. They can start with a newborn, an infant, and in the States they can stay with that child now until the child is 21 years old. And the value is that every single year you have a team that knows as much as they can about the child as he or she progresses in life. And so the challenge in education is for us to also create the teams that always include the parents to help us have the best team that we can to follow the children across their lifetime. And so that team would be the child, the parent, headmaster, I'm trying to get used to that. We say principals. And so the child, the teacher, the principal, and maybe even someone from the community. I learned very quickly also to include the community, and we didn't talk about that part yet. Once I had a first grader, more stories, who was acting badly, I don't know, misbehaving every day.
Każdego dnia.
From 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. And then his mother would be late picking him up, and so sometimes he was there until 5 p.m. And being the kind-hearted person that you can tell I am by now, not a good idea. But when he would misbehave, I would say, I'm going to talk to your parents. And he would say, I'm going to tell your dad, right? He said, so grandma.
No. Nie pomogło.
This child, no one could I tell to get help. Then I had an idea. I said to him one day, do you go to church? Yes, I'm Catholic. I said, I'm going to tell Father on you. Okay. I said, So I went to his parish to speak to Father, and he said, call me anytime. I'd be happy to come. So I talked to Mom. She said, great. So one day he's misbehaving. I go to the office, and I called Father. He comes to school and stands in the doorway, says nothing. The whole class sat down and was quiet. I'm like, yes, I found something that will work. Now, that doesn't always work, but here's my point. I mean, we're talking about partners for education. Then there may be someone in the community that is not mother or father or grandparents who may be able to be a part of the team to offer some assistance. And here's why that's so important. I didn't live in the neighborhood or the community of the students I was teaching. But there were experts in the community that would have been able to help me learn about the community in ways that I couldn't have learned on my own. In today's 21st century, teachers cannot teach alone. We don't have the expertise in everything, although my mother seems to think I know everything. You need people to bring to you the expertise. One thing I learned in the business world that is very helpful. If I'm going to be a multi-billionaire CEO, the first thing I do is determine what I don't know. And then I put together a team of experts. I hire each of them. They work for me and bring their expertise. I lead them all and look very smart. But I thought about that model for teaching. What would it mean if, as a teacher, I recognized that I needed to bring in experts, partners, to help me with things that I may not be as strong in or I don't have time to do? My first resource would be the parents of the children that I teach. So I might have in the classroom parents that are high-level scientists, or I may have a parent that is friends with a parent of a child who's misbehaving, who may get me entree to that parent in ways that I'm not able to do. Often when teachers and administrators go into areas where there is lower socioeconomic status, they believe that the parents may not have anything that they can bring to help. But if we go back to the very first slide where we began talking about parental involvement being more important than any other program, then it's very important that every parent at least has the opportunity to become a partner if it's something that they desire to do. So the goal, again, is if we believe that parent involvement will boost student achievement, then we have to find ways to make sure that parents across all groups can participate. And so the research bears out. When parents are curriculum experts, they can help with content. Maybe they help with logistics in the classroom, maybe they volunteer for field trips. As children move through the grades, maybe they're able to just, I don't know, come and help you run as fast as you can to get away. But parents can have some involvement. If they are in primary grades, we want to hold on to that excitement, because don't you see that, aren't the children excited when their parents are involved at the young grades? In the middle grades, when maybe they don't want their parents around, we still can find ways for them to be involved, maybe with things that are related to paperwork or in the hallways. I don't know if they have. And by the time they're in secondary school, you might be able to have a parent that can help a child, a young person, learn about college or learn about a vocation. And if we look at this as a team of people that would be able to help, then it's no different than in the medical world when you have a primary doctor and specialists are brought in with special expertise around a particular topic or particular issue. That's not that you want that person to come in and take over, but they are a real partner reaching for the goal of raising academic achievement, because that's the bottom line. Last story. I went home from school one day and I told my father, Mrs. So-and-so, she does not like me. My father said, I'm not sending you to school for friends. I'm sending you to school to learn as much as you can. So I went and told my mother. She says, what? Everybody should love my baby. Right answer. But the issue is that if a child feels that the teacher does not like, one thing I learned in the team, with the team, that I could bring someone else in to help me reach that child. Because my overall goal is that child must do well and to learn as much as they possibly can learn, because I don't know which child will cure cancer. I don't know which child will fix the national debt, and in the US it's very high. I don't know which of the children that in front of me every day will have the promise to fix something in society that needs to be fixed. So I need the parents, I need the community, I need a team, because in the 21st century I cannot do it alone.